Hi everyone, welcome to this lyric based series. In this course, I will guide you step by step through essential lyric commands so you can work confidently on any lyric system. Let's start with the basics. Moving around the file system to know exactly where you are and how to browse folders. Okay? First, to find out where you currently are in the system, you can use the command pwd. This command means print working directory and it will show you the full path from the root down to the current folder. For example, if it outputs home phương LH, that means you're inside the film LH folder, which is under the home directory. Next, if you to see what files and folders exist in the current location, you can use ls. By default, ls lists the visible files and directories, but sometimes you want more details. For that, you can add option ls with option L shows you detailed info like file size and owner and modification date. ls with option A lists all files including hidden ones which start with a dot, such as dot bash rc. Now to move to a different folder, the command is cd follow by the full name. For example, typing cd documents will take you inside the documents folder. Okay, if you want to move back up one level, you type cd dot dot and jump straight back to the home folder. You can use cd. This symbol represents the home directory. Okay. Sometimes you will want to create a new folder. To do that, use mkdir follow by the folder the name. For example, mkdir project will create a new folder named projects inside the current location. Okay. If you want to remove a folder, you can use rm dir follow by the folder name. But remember, this only works if the folder is empty. Okay. If the folder contains files or subfolders, we will cover how to remove those later. Now that you know how to uh, move around, let's learn how to create, copy, rename, and delete files. If you want to create a new empty file, you can use the touch command followed by the file name. For example, typing touch notes.txt will create an empty file called notes.txt. Okay, to copy a file from one place to another, you can use the cp command. For example, if you want to copy file.txt to the tmp folder, you type cp and file and tmp directory. Okay, okay. If you want to copy a whole folder, including everything inside, you need to add with option for recursive copying. For example, cp r and my document to backup folder. We will copy the folder, my documents folder, and all its contents into backup directories. Okay, what you want to rename a file or move it to another folder, you can use uh, the mv command. For example, mv file.txt file1.txt will rename the file from file.txt to file1.txt. Okay, or if you want to move the file into another folder, you can do mv notes.txt documents, which moves notes.txt into documents folder. Okay, to delete a file, you can use rm command followed by the file name. For example, rm file1.txt will remove the file name file1.txt. Okay, if you want to delete a folder and everything inside, you can use rm with option r and folder name. Be careful with this command because it permanently deletes the folder and its contents. There is no undo. Okay. Sometimes you just want to quickly look inside a file without opening a full editor. We can use the cat command followed by the file name to display uh, the entire content of the file. For example, get script will print out everything inside this file. Okay. If the file is too long and you want to view it page by page, you can use less circuit file. Okay, you can use less circuit file. This lets you scroll through the file one screen at a time. And when you're done, just press Q to quit. There's also more, okay, which is similar to less but has fewer features. Okay, if you only want to see the first few lines of a file, you can use head with option and 10 to show the first 10 lines of this file. Okay. On the other hand, tail with option N will show you the last 10 lines. Okay. And when you want to monitor a log file in real time as it updates, you can use sudo tail with option F. Okay. It's very useful for watching logs as new entries come in. File permission control who can read, write, or execute a file. To change file permission, you can use the chmod command. For example, chmod 755 script means you set permission so that the file owner can read, write, and execute the file, while others can only read and execute it. Okay. If you need to change who owns a file or which group it belongs to, you can use the child command. For example, child user group and uh, file dot txt changes the owner to user and the group for file dot txt. Okay, for example, user Phương LH group Phương LH. Okay, let's check some basic system health and disk usage command to see how much disk space is available and use on the device. Use the F with option H. The H makes the output human readable, showing size in MB or gigabyte. Okay, to find out how much space a specific folder is taking, use the U edit. Okay, just summarize the total size of folder in a readable format. Okay, to check memory RAM usage, the command is free with option H. Again, H makes it easier to read the numbers. Okay, and if you want to see how long the system has been running, use up time. Okay, it also shows system load average, giving you an idea of CPU demand. Okay, let's look at how to see what program are running and how to stop them if needed. You can use top to see active processes in real time, showing CPU and memory usage as well. You want a snapshot of all running processes, try PS A U S. Okay, when you need to stop a process for fully, use Q with option 9 PID, where PID is the process ID number. Okay, for example, Q with option 9 for 625 will immediately terminate as the process with ID 4625. Okay, Lyric can help you troubleshoot network issues easily. to see the network interfaces and their IP addresses. You can use IP at so you want to check whether the system can reach a website or server, use Bing, google.com. Okay, this sends test package to Google servers uh, to tell you if they get a response. Okay, sometimes you need to find files or search for specific words inside files. You can use the file command to search for files by name. For example, find root directory with option name file.txt. Looks for a file name file.txt starting from the folder root. Okay, to search for specific text inside a file, use grep. For example, grep root var log skill searches for the word root inside the file skill. Okay, if you want to search recursively inside all files within a folder and its subfolders are the R option. For example, grep with R option file searches for the word file inside all files under path var log. Okay, and Linux is very powerful for processing and manipulating text files. You can use AWK to print specific columns from the file. For example, embed print file.txt. Freeze the first column from each line in file.txt. Okay, if the file has lines like name HCG, this command will only show the name column. Another useful tool is set. Okay, oh new file not TIT. Replace it every uh, occurrence of the word O with new in the file. Okay. Finally, let's learn how to save space by compressing files and bundling multiple files together. To create an archive, a single file that contains many files or folders, you can use tar. For example, tar with option C, V, F, archive, not tar, etc. Directory. Okay. Create an archive name archive.tar from the folder etc. Okay. Okay. To extract files from an archive, use tar with option svf archive.tar. Okay. Okay. To compress a single file, use zip. For example, the zip uh, file dot txt compresses file dot txt into uh, file dot txt dot. Okay. To decompress it back, use runzip. Okay. And that's it. We have covered over uh, 50 essential Linux commands to help you navigate, manage files, check the system, and much more. Keep practicing the command regularly, and you will become confident working with Linux. In the next series, we will dive deeper into file permission and user management. Thank for watching and see you later. Okay.